Okay, so yesterday we finished talking about the 6 types of numbers: real numbers, rational, irrational, integers, whole, and natural numbers. So that is it for that specific topic. And now today we are moving into 2 other different types that numbers can fall under. Now, the types of numbers that we are talking about today only apply to whole numbers. Alright, only apply to whole numbers, to natural numbers, and integers. It does not apply for rational numbers or irrational numbers. Alright, so the first number that we are talking about today is, I'm gonna skip this one. What are odd numbers? So, before going to the definition of what is an odd number, we have odd numbers and we have even numbers, and that is one group of numbers. I can take all the whole numbers, all the integers, and all the natural numbers, and I can group them as odd or even. The other type of number that we are talking about today is composite and prime. So I can take all the integers, all the whole numbers, and all the natural numbers, and I could classify them as being prime number or composite number. So those are the 4 types of numbers that we're talking about today: odd and even, composite and prime. And we have to classify numbers as either being an odd or an even number, or being a prime or a composite number. So those are the groups that we are talking about today. So what is an odd number? An odd number is defined as those numbers that cannot be divided by 2. So any number, be it positive or negative, a positive number can be an odd number, and a negative number can also be an odd number. So what I want you guys to do in the chat is I want each of you to put an example of an odd number. It doesn't matter if somebody else puts the same number as you, just the first odd number that pops up in your head, the first number that cannot be divided by 2, and I want you to put that in the chat. 17, very good. 53, 3, 1, very good. 15, good. 7, 1, 5, 5, 15, 3, 9, 7, oops, okay, 12 is not an odd number. 5, very good. 19, very good. 9, 7, okay, good. So an odd number, and I'm repeating it again, an odd number is a number that cannot be divided by 2. I see 33, 39, 37, very good. Those are all good examples of what an odd number is. So when I go into, if I were to have given you guys a chart of 1 to 100, you could easily identify what are all of the odd numbers, because any number that I cannot divide by 2 is automatically an odd number. So those numbers would be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. I am grouping all of the odd numbers, right? So odd numbers are basically integer numbers that cannot be categorized in groups of 2. So it's the same thing. I cannot divide this number by 2, or I cannot make groups of 2 from this number. For example, if I talk about the number 5 and I want to divide, or I want to group 5 into groups of 2, I can't do that, because I will have 5, I will have one group of 2, another group of 2, and this one stays by itself. right? If I were to have 7, the same thing. If I were to have 3, the same thing. If I were to do 39, I see 39 in the chat, the same thing. 19, the same thing. Because those numbers, I cannot divide it equally by 2. All right? Moving on. Even numbers. So odd numbers is one type of number and it is grouped along with even numbers. So basically odd and even numbers are the opposite. So if I cannot divide an odd number by 2, then that automatically means that the even numbers are all those numbers that I can go ahead and divide by 2. So even numbers are those numbers that can be divided into equal groups or pairs and are exactly divisible by 2. For example, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so on. So what I want you guys to do, I want you to put an even number in the chat, and I want an even number that is bigger than 10 because I gave you 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Those are my examples. I want you to put another number in the chat that I can divide by 2. 88, 44, 14, 22, 100, 22, 48. Very good examples, guys. 22, 56, 50, 200, 22, 24, 50, 300, 24. Those are very good examples. Excellent work. 600, very good. Very good examples, guys. So let's continue. What are prime numbers? Now, we have talked about odd and even numbers. So I want us to do something before I go into prime and odd. Remember the table that we were working on yesterday, the table of the worksheet? So what we are going to be doing is that we will be filling out the odd and the even for this table. And then we're going to talk about prime and composite and then go back to fill the rest of the table. All right, so then that's what we're doing right now. So let me move this here. One second. Okay, so this is the table. Let me zoom in a bit so that you guys could see it. Too much. Okay, so I just explained that when we have odd and even numbers, an odd or an even number can be positive or negative, right? So let's look at negative 2. Negative 2 is a negative number. It is an integer and it's a 2. So is negative 2 an odd number? Yes or no?
No.
No, miss.
No.
No,
No,
it is not. Very
no, miss.
good. Very good. So I'm going to put an X over here. Is negative 2 an even number?
Yes, miss.
Yes,
Yes, it
miss.
is. Very good. Yes, it is.
Yes, miss.
So I have filled out the first one. Now, let's look at half. Is half an odd number?
No.
No, it's
No.
not. Is it an even number?
No.
No.
Okay, very good. Now, why is half neither odd nor even? Who can tell me why?
Because it's a fraction.
Very good, Ryan, because it's a fraction. A fraction cannot be odd and it cannot be even, right? So odd and even numbers can only be integers, can only be whole numbers, can only be natural numbers, right? So every time you see a fraction, it's going to be none of them. It cannot be odd and it cannot be even. Good. Now how about 100? Is 100 odd?
No.
No, it's not. Very good. It's not. Is it even?
Yes, miss.
No.
Yes,
Yes,
miss.
very good.
Yes, miss.
How about 53? Is 53 odd?
Yes.
Very good. Is it
Yes.
even?
No, miss.
No, it's not. How about 5.12?
No.
No. No.
No, for which one? Odd or even?
I think both.
For both. Very good. 5.12 is a decimal. And the decimal cannot be odd and it cannot be even either. Alright? How about square root of 20?
No, miss.
No, for which one?
Odd.
It's not odd, okay. It's not odd. How about even?
Yes,
Yes.
miss. No, miss.
Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Why is it even?
No, miss.
Okay, so why is it not even then?
Because the square root is not
Because of the
even.
square root. Very good. This is square root of 20. If it were 20 by itself, then yes, it would be an even. But this is square root of 20, and a square root cannot be cannot be odd, and it cannot be even. All right? Let's keep moving on. 212. Is 212 odd or even?
Even.
Even, miss.
Even. Very good. 5 over 12. 5 twelfths. Odd or even?
None.
No, miss.
None. Very good. None of them. How about how about 0.3333 never ending recurring 3? Is it odd or even?
None of them.
None of them.
None of them. Very good. None of them. How about 64?
Even.
It's even. Very good. Even. Okay, so that is what we have now. Almost finished with our table. So we have classified the numbers as real, irrational, rational, integer, and whole. We have classified them as odd or even. And now we're going to talk about prime and composite. All right, so that is going to be our following slide. Let's see. Okay, let me make a copy of this one. Okay,